It's Friday. I'm so excited. Oh, the spaz. I'm so ready for the weekend, though. Okay. Hey everyone, this is Tim at Parcel Artisan Works. Today I want to explain how to make a simple leather belt. Now this process isn't particularly complex. However, the fundamentals for making a simple leather belt are the same ones that you could use later on to make more advanced belts. And I use this exact process for making all of my belts here in the studio. And the cool thing about this is if you want to make your own belt, kind of like these, I sell not only the pattern on my website, but also the kit as well, which includes all of the hardware and the strap so you can make your own belt at home fit exactly to your own measurements. But all right, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's get right into this build video. Okay, so here we go getting started. I've already gone ahead and cut out the template. It is 2 pieces for both ends of the belt. I went ahead and punched holes and did my slots and everything and prepped it out. So this is a piece of Wicket and Craig traditional harness leather. It's 1.5 inch strap. This is what comes in the kit. You can see here I went ahead and marked all my holes and the slot. So I'm going to go ahead and use a 3/16 hole punch here and get these punched. Now for the slot on this belt, there's 2 different ways that you can go about it. One is with a bag punch, which is just a big slot with rounded ends, which is what I normally use in the shop. If you don't have that, you can also do it with the hole punch and the utility knife. So I'm going to go here and tap these holes so you can see where I'm putting them. I'm putting them at either end of the scribe line, centered left to right, and then that's where they're going to go. I'm going to go ahead and punch these all the way through. And then the next step is I'll take a ruler and the utility knife and I will cut from hole to hole. And here's a pro tip for you. If your ruler is flopping on the strap like this, take another piece like an offcut off of the strap and put it on the back side of the ruler. That'll keep it flat and keep it from shifting around. So you can see here, I'm lining that ruler up just inside the edge of each hole. And then I'm going to cut about halfway between these 2 holes. The first cut took me about 3 passes, but the first cut is just kind of a scribe, then a little bit deeper, and then all the way down to the board. And then I do it again on the other side. You'll see about how far I go here. And you don't want to go past that second hole because it'll look bad and it can also mess with the strength of the belt itself down here around this loop. Once I've cut down on both sides there, you can see that I'm going to flip the belt around and I'm going to finish the cuts from the other direction, just dropping the blade into those already existing slots, go all the way down and cut them out. Now again, of course, the bag punch is certainly faster, but it is not at all a requirement in order to do this. The next step is to bevel the ends of the belt strap. So this here is a beveled corner punch. This is what I usually use on my belts because it's a perfect cut and it's super easy and super fast. You don't have to put a rounded end on this. You could just bevel it and cut a little 45-degree corner off of it. That's what I did with my very first belts when I first started making them. But you don't have to. This is all personal preference. And an alternative is if you don't have a corner punch, you can also do it with a utility knife as well. So I'm doing this. It took me about 3 strokes to get this. First cut was kind of describe the line. Second cut was to get most of that waste off. And the third cut, finish the corner. It's not as clean as the corner punch. However, it's close enough. And it will save you $20. All right, next up is the hardware and what you'll find in our belt kits. This is all antique solid brass. There's a single prong roller buckle, 1.5 inch loop, and 2 sets of Chicago screws. A tip here on the Chicago screws, if you never want them to loosen up and potentially fall out, you can use some thread locker like Loctite, but you can also use just a small drop of Elmer's white glue. That's actually what I use here in the shop because it's less mess. And at this point, I realized that the posts on the Chicago screws weren't quite long enough to reach through both pieces of leather without using a little bit of pressure to get them to catch. So I shifted to the rubber mat so that I could push, and once I did, the threads took and I was able to set the Chicago screw. Once I finished that first one, I moved the slider as close to that first screw as possible to make a little more room for the second one. Now that the buckle is set, let's go ahead and get this fitted. I pulled the strap through all my belt loops, though I could have just wrapped it around myself on top of my pants, then pulled the belt snug and marked where the strap touched the inside of the buckle. You could also lay this belt out next to an existing belt, even them at the fold where the buckles are, and transpose where your favorite hole is on the old belt to the new belt. That'll give the same result as this. Then back to the bench to mark the holes. Now my template in the video has 5 holes, but the template online has 7. It doesn't matter one way or the other. 7 holes adds a little more leeway for fitment, but for me in the shop, I use 5 because I'm usually able to make the custom ones. Either way, find your mark on the belt and line that up with the center hole in the template, then mark your holes. When you're doing this, you can also mark the end of the belt as well. Now that the end of the belt is cut to length and the holes are marked, I'm going to grab another hole punch. This one's slightly smaller than the 3/16. It's about the same size as the prong on the buckle. I'm going to sight down the belt, making sure that my punch is centered left to right. I'm not necessarily so worried about perfect 3/4 inch spacing between these holes, but I wanted to make sure that they're centered because that is visible when you punch these. But anyways, I went ahead, punched these holes, and then this is ready for final fitment. Now these straps in the kit are 6 foot long, and I took some creative liberties here on this belt so that I could resize this belt down later on and reuse it. The belt you see me putting on is an identical belt that I made for myself a couple months ago. Again, the beautiful thing about this design is that the basics of this belt can be added into a fancier design later on, whether that be one with nicer burnished edges, a custom dye job, or even some light tooling. This design will work for all of that. All right, there we have it. I hope that you found this entertaining and educational. If you have any questions whatsoever, please put them down into the comments down below. I'd be happy to help as much as I can. Again, if you'd like to use this template and or get yourself a kit, those are both available on my website with the links down below. Make sure to follow my socials for more daily things. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure to like this video, comment, do all the things to make it really awesome so I get a little more traction. Thank you so much for stopping in, and I hope you guys have a really good one. Take care.